everybody, this is Mrs. Geisy, and today I'm going to be explaining our synthesis paper that I do with my seniors, and I hope this is going to help you guys when you're writing. Just try and figure out how to organize your body paragraphs and how to use a web to go from your brainstorming to your body paragraphs. So the first thing I would like to do is look at the back of our rubric. So here's the rubric paper I'm talking about, but on the other side I have the directions. So if you don't have that, come see me. And so far in class, what we've been doing is we have been reading and brainstorming, reading the 3 articles that your paper is going to be discussing, summarizing them, and then adding a paragraph about your opinion. What is your opinion about obedience to authority? What do you have to say in regards to what the article said? And this is going to be really helpful to you in writing your paper because a lot of this summary and opinion you might be able to reword slightly and put directly into your paper. So this is truly a brainstorming activity. I'm hoping that this will be really helpful to you when you're working on your paper. Now we're going to skip the works cited for now, which is part 2, and we're going to go right to part 3, which is come up with a tentative thesis for your paper. And remember, a thesis is the main idea of your paper. What are you going to be trying to prove in your paper? And remember, this paper is about your opinion on obedience to authority. So the thesis should say what your opinion is and use the words obedience to authority. That way it goes right with the topic of the paper. Then after that, you want to organize and outline your ideas using a list, web, or outline. That's what I'm going to show you first. So again, I've put like a little web together just to save time. But remember, your thesis should be your opinion on obedience to authority. So should people obey authority? Why? Why not? In what circumstances should they obey authority? In what circumstances not? What historically has been the problems, the pros and the cons of obeying authority? These are all things you could discuss in your paper. Now, it seems to me that there are 3 obvious ways to organize this paper. First of all, you have 3 articles that you have to discuss, so it would therefore make sense if you did 1 article per paragraph. So maybe your first paragraph is about the perils of obedience. That would make sense because it kind of gives an overview of the Milgram experiment, so that might be good for body paragraph 1. Maybe body paragraph 2 is about the just do what the pilot tells you. And maybe the third body paragraph is about the genocidal killer article. That would make sense because in your paragraph, what you could do is you could give your claim, what's your opinion on the article, and then next you could summarize the article briefly, and then after that you could give specific examples and explain how that proves your point. So I think that would be one of the easiest ways to organize. But if your brain really doesn't work that way, or if your argument really doesn't work that way, another way that you could do it is instead give your opinion in your thesis about obedience to authority, and then each body paragraph could be about 3 different reasons why you're right. So this could be reason 1, reason 2, reason 3. And if you do that, remember, you still have to use all 3 articles in your paper. So you can't just use one of the articles if you do that. You have to use all 3. And remember, you don't have to agree with all the articles. They have differing opinions. So you could say, in the parallels of obedience, this says this. I think that's right because, and then explain, or I think he's wrong because blah, 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 blah. You want to explain your opinion regardless of whether you agree or disagree with the article. You can disagree with it and use examples to prove why you disagree. That's really fine. Also, I want you to have at least 2 examples per body paragraph. And I want them to be examples from the articles. And you can either do a quote or you could paraphrase. So in the article, just do what the pilot tells you. Dalrymple says, and then put it in your own words, and then explain why he's wrong. That would be fine. But if you do a quote, make sure, regardless of whether you do a quote or a paraphrase, that you introduce it. So in the article, just do what the pilot tells you by Dalrymple, he says blah. That way you're not just putting a quote just randomly in there, because it tends to confuse the reader. You want to introduce your quote so that we're with you, we're on the same page, we understand what your point is and what you're trying to say. Now, once you figure out what each body paragraph is going to be about, then you can decide what your claims are. And remember, your claim is your topic sentence of your paragraph. What is your paragraph trying to prove? And that's going to be the first sentence of your paragraph. So you want to figure out, what is that paragraph going to be about? Is it going to be about an article, one of the articles? So maybe your claim is something like, I believe the author of Genocidal Killer is incorrect when he says, and you can say what his main point is, because blah. So you want to just give what is your main point of that paragraph. Then you're going to give your evidence. You're going to give examples from the articles, either quoting or paraphrase, which prove your point. Make sure you use internal citations. Since we have 3 different articles, you want to be real careful that you use the correct author last name, and then the page number that the information's on, and parenthesis, period at the end. I have another video on internal citations, so if you need more information than that, make sure you check out that video. Again, you want at least 2 examples per paragraph, and to use all the articles in your paper. Once you give an example from the story, then you have to explain how that proves your point or why it's wrong. This is the most important part of this paper. The whole paper is about your opinion. Yes, you're using the examples, but you're using them to explain why you're right. So you're using them to prove your opinion. So you want to explain why you're right, referencing the articles. And because this is the main point of your paper, you especially want at least 50% of each paragraph, if not more, to be analysis, your explanation. Again, that's the most important part of this paper. I hope this has been helpful to you. Later, we are going to talk about introduction, conclusion, and works cited. So please, if you have any questions, let me know. If there's anything I can do to help you out. Have a nice day, and I'll talk to you later.